All Saints' Day is a Catholic feast celebrated on November 1st each year to honor all saints known and unknown who have achieved eternal life with God. This day is dedicated to celebrating the holiness, devotion, and sacrifices of saints who serve as role models in the Catholic faith. Here's a detailed overview of the significance, history, and customs of All Saints' Day in Catholic belief. 1. Significance of All Saints' Day. All Saints' Day is rooted in the Catholic teaching of the communion of saints, a doctrine that expresses the spiritual union of all members of the Church, those on earth, those in purgatory, and those in heaven. Catholics believe that saints, who are in the presence of God, continue to intercede for those on earth. All Saints' Day honors the saints as examples of holiness and inspires Catholics to pursue virtuous lives. This feast celebrates both canonized saints, those officially recognized by the Church, and unknown saints who may not have been canonized but lived exemplary lives of faith and are believed to be in heaven. 2. History and origins of All Saints' Day. The origins of All Saints' Day date back to the early centuries of Christianity. Martyrs in the early Church. Initially, Christians commemorated martyrs, those who died for their faith, on the anniversary of their deaths. As the number of martyrs increased, it became difficult to honor each individually, leading to the establishment of a common day to honor them all collectively. Establishment of the feast. The tradition of honoring all saints began to take shape around the 4th century. By the 7th century, Pope Boniface IV formally established All Saints' Day when he consecrated the Pantheon in Rome to honor Mary and all martyrs in the year 609 AD. Later, Pope Gregory III, 731–741, consecrated a chapel at St. Peter's Basilica for All the Saints, officially moving the feast to November 1st. Wider adoption in the West. In 837 AD, Pope Gregory IV extended the celebration of All Saints' Day to the entire Church, making it a universal feast to honor the memory of all saints. Since then, the feast has been celebrated annually on November 1st. 3. Connection to All Souls' Day and Halloween. All Saints' Day is closely associated with All Souls' Day, November 2nd, which is dedicated to praying for the souls of the faithful departed who are in purgatory, awaiting purification before entering heaven. Together, these two feasts reflect the Catholic teaching on the three states of the Church: the Church militant, Christians on earth, the Church suffering, souls in purgatory, and the Church triumphant, saints in heaven. Halloween, celebrated on October 31st, was traditionally known as All Hallows' Eve, the vigil of All Saints' Day. This night prepared the faithful for the solemn celebrations of the saints. 4. The communion of saints and intercession. A key aspect of All Saints' Day is the intercession of saints. Catholics believe that saints, being close to God, intercede on behalf of the living. The saints serve as powerful advocates, presenting prayers and petitions to God. All Saints' Day is a reminder of the unity between heaven and earth and the spiritual support that saints offer to those still on their earthly journey. 5. The importance of sainthood and canonization. The Catholic Church believes that all people are called to be saints, striving for holiness and closeness with God. While canonized saints are officially recognized by the Church, there are countless other saints who have reached heaven but remain unknown on earth. All Saints' Day acknowledges and celebrates the holiness of these unknown saints. Canonization. The process of canonization involves declaring a person a saint, verifying that they lived a holy life, and are now in heaven. This process includes extensive investigation and the confirmation of miracles attributed to the candidate's intercession. Canonized saints serve as models for Christians to emulate. 6. Customs and celebrations of All Saints' Day. All Saints' Day is observed with a variety of traditions, both liturgical and cultural. Holy Day of Obligation. In many Catholic regions, All Saints' Day is a holy day of obligation, meaning Catholics are required to attend Massachusetts. The Mass readings focus on themes of holiness, heaven, and the Beatitudes, the blessings Jesus described in Matthew 5 verses 3–12, as a guide to living a saintly life. Visiting cemeteries. Catholics in some countries visit cemeteries to honor deceased family members, decorating graves with flowers and candles. While this custom is often associated with All Souls' Day, the days around All Saints' Day also encourage remembrance of the faithful departed. Relics of the saints. Many churches display relics of saints, small physical items associated with them, on All Saints' Day, giving Catholics a chance to venerate these relics and reflect on the lives of saints. Children's costumes. In some regions, Catholic children dress up as their favorite saints on All Saints' Day. This allows them to learn about the saints' lives, virtues, and sacrifices in a fun, engaging way. Prayers and devotions. Many Catholics offer specific prayers for the intercession of saints on All Saints' Day, thanking them for their example and asking for their guidance. 7. All Saints' Day around the world. All Saints' Day is celebrated in diverse ways across different cultures. Mexico. In Mexico, All Saints' Day is part of the multi-day celebration known as Día de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. Families honor deceased children on November 1st and deceased adults on November 2nd, blending Catholic and indigenous traditions to remember loved ones. France and Belgium, All Saints' Day, or La Toussaint, is a public holiday in France and Belgium. Many people visit cemeteries to honor their deceased relatives, placing chrysanthemums on graves. Philippines. Filipinos observe All Saints' Day by visiting cemeteries to clean and decorate graves. It is a time of family gatherings, prayer, and remembrance of loved ones. 8. All Saints' Day in the liturgical calendar. In the Catholic liturgical calendar, All Saints' Day is part of the end-of-year celebrations, as November marks the last month of the church year before Advent. This timing emphasizes the theme of the last things, encouraging Catholics to reflect on eternal life, judgment, heaven, and the call to holiness. All Saints' Day, therefore, becomes a powerful reminder of the hope of heaven and the eternal reward awaiting those who follow Christ faithfully. 9. All Saints' Day and the call to holiness. One of the core messages of All Saints' Day is the universal call to holiness. The saints serve as models for living a Christ-like life, but their examples also show that sainthood is attainable by all, regardless of background or state in life. Through prayer, devotion, and virtuous living, Catholics are encouraged to pursue a deeper relationship with God, striving to reflect His love in their own lives. 10. Prayers and devotions for All Saints' Day. On All Saints' Day, Catholics recite prayers that honor the saints and ask for their intercession. Litany of the Saints. This traditional prayer calls upon various saints by name, asking for their intercession. The Litany of the Saints is often recited during major feasts, baptisms, ordinations, and other significant ceremonies. Mass prayers. The prayers at All Saints' Day Mass focus on thanksgiving for the saints' lives and on asking for God's grace to imitate their faith and devotion. 11. The inspiration of the saints. All Saints' Day invites Catholics to draw inspiration from the saints' lives. Each saint reflects unique virtues, such as courage, humility, charity, and patience, and their stories show how ordinary people can achieve extraordinary holiness through God's grace. The saints remind Catholics of the potential for sanctity in daily life, encouraging them to live out their faith with dedication and love. If you guys are still with us, we would love if you subscribe, likes, comments and share the video to others so that we can teach and know more about Catholic faith and in-depth information about our churches. Summary. All Saints' Day is a Catholic feast that honors all saints who have reached heaven, serving as examples of holiness and devotion. Rooted in the early tradition of commemorating martyrs, this feast celebrates the communion of saints and reminds Catholics of the saints' intercession and guidance. Through Mass, prayer, and cultural traditions, Catholics around the world celebrate All Saints' Day by honoring the holy men and women who inspire their faith and demonstrate God's love in action. This day calls all believers to pursue their own path to holiness, uniting the Church in its journey toward eternal life with God.